During Easter, my uncle loudly asked, "So, when are you going to stop being a disappointment?" Everyone laughed except me. I was sitting at the folding card table they'd set up for me in the corner, while my cousins got seats at the main dining table. At 32, I was still treated like the family screw-up. Uncle Raymond was on a roll today. "I mean, seriously, what's your plan here? You don't have kids, no wife, you live in that tiny studio apartment." He gestured around the table for support. "And what is it you do again? Something with computers?" My cousin Trevor snorted. "He plays on his laptop all day. Mom said she saw him at the coffee shop just sitting there for hours." "It's called remote work," I said quietly. But Uncle Raymond wasn't done. "Remote work," he laughed louder. "That's what unemployed people call hanging out at Starbucks. When I was your age, I had a house, 2 kids, and a real job with real responsibilities." My aunt nodded approvingly. "Raymond's right, honey. Maybe it's time to think about settling down, getting serious about life." Mom chimed in from across the room. "I keep telling him he needs to find a nice girl, get a stable job. All his friends from high school are married with families now, and making real money." Uncle Raymond added, "My neighbor's son just bought a boat." "A boat? What have you accomplished lately?" I felt that familiar knot in my stomach, the one I'd carried to every family gathering for the past 5 years. The disappointment in their voices, the way they looked at me like I was some kind of failure who couldn't get his life together. "You know what your problem is?" Uncle Raymond continued, warming to his theme. "You never learned to take responsibility. Always taking the easy way out, avoiding real commitment." My cousin Eliza, who'd been quiet until now, decided to join in. "Maybe if you got off the computer and actually went out and met people." She trailed off with a shrug. "I do go out," I said, but Uncle Raymond cut me off. "Yeah, to that coffee shop to pretend you have a job." More laughter around the table. The worst part was how confident they all seemed in their assessment of my life, like they'd figured me out completely, and I was just too deluded to see it. "Look, we're just worried about you," Mom said, though her tone suggested more frustration than worry. "You're smart. You could do so much more with your life if you just applied yourself." Uncle Raymond nodded sagely. "Exactly. Stop wasting time on whatever it is you do on that computer and get a real career. Something with benefits, security, a future." "What even is your job?" my cousin Trevor asked. Like if someone asked me what my cousin does for work, I literally wouldn't know what to tell them. The table went quiet for a moment, waiting for my answer. I could feel all their eyes on me, expecting another vague explanation they could dismiss. I pulled out my phone and opened my contacts. "Actually, let me show you what I do." I called a number on speaker. The phone rang twice before a woman answered. "Hey Marin, it's me. Yeah, the Easter thing. Listen, can you tell my family what I do for work?" A woman's voice filled the room. "Oh, you're the trauma counselor who saved my daughter's life after her accident. She couldn't speak for months until you worked with her. I don't know what we would have done without you." Uncle Raymond's smug expression started to falter. I hung up and called another number. "Dr. Varela, quick favor." "Certainly. Your uncle there, sir. Your nephew volunteers 60 hours a week with our PTSD veterans. He's helped over 200 soldiers reintegrate into civilian life. We've nominated him for a National Service Award." Uncle Raymond's mouth hung open. I made one more call. "Mom, remember when you said I have no real accomplishments?" The voice that answered made everyone freeze. "This is Governor Ashford's office. We're calling to inform you that you've been selected as this year's Humanitarian of the Year for your work with trauma victims." The room went completely silent. I stood up slowly. "You're right, Uncle Raymond. I am disappointing. I'm disappointing to people who think success only means money and status." I headed for the door. "I'll be at the Children's Hospital if anyone needs me. You know, playing video games with the cancer kids."